Welcome to Meeting of the Moms, a place to talk about all the things. I'm Lorna Adams. I'm a wife, mom, and certified life coach. I think being with people makes anything a party. Thanks for coming to ours. I'm here with my good friend Amy. For years, we've spent the early morning hours running and talking together before diving into our days.
Hey, I'm Amy Rasmussen. I'm a teacher by profession, a wife and mother by choice, an optimist by nature, and happy by design. Here at Moms, we believe the world is wide open to all of us and that we have unlimited potential. We're so glad you're here.
We recorded this in August of last year. I'm excited to share with you a fun experience I had while attending a unique college volleyball game. Let's listen in. In our community, we live in between BYU and SUU. Those two schools had contacted our high school and asked if they could come and play a game. It's a preseason game here at our school. And I found out this morning, or last night now, I can't remember which, it was going to be at noon today. And I knew you and I were meeting at 12:30. So fall sport, it's women's volleyball. And so I did reach out to you and ask if we could meet later. Anyway, we did end up meeting later.
Yep. Which was good for me too, because I was at Walmart for 100 years, which I'll tell you about in a second. Keep going.
I went to this game. It was so fun to be there. So number one, I think it's awesome that the two colleges asked this little high school in the middle of nowhere if they could play here. And really it ended up being a win-win because neither team had to drive the 3-ish hours that it would have taken to be at one of the home locations. So number one, I think that's pretty awesome. Number two, our high school cheerleaders, so we have about 25, I think, on the team, on the cheer team, and they ended up splitting in half and cheering for each team. So at one point during the game, the T-Birds, SUU T-Birds, were on one side of the court, and our cheerleaders were cheering for the T-Birds, our half of the cheer squad. And then the BYU team was playing on this side of the court, and the other Millard High School cheerleaders were cheering for them. Then after that first set, they swap, the team swap. Our cheerleaders stay on the same sides that they've been on and cheer for this new team. And they did it every set. It was so cool. I thought it was awesome that our cheerleaders could just jump right in with cheers for them. And they did change a lot of our Millard Eagle type words and put in the T-Birds or the Cougars. So that was fun. And how often can a high school cheerleader say she has cheered for a college team?
Right. Yep.
Super cool.
So fun.
Then next, we had our local volleyball team coaches were line judging. How often do high school coaches get to say they've line judged for a college team?
Yeah.
Super awesome, right?
Yep.
And then our school took a pause and all of the students were able to come and be on half of the gym. They had kind of all the students on the one half and then anyone else that was coming on the other side of the gym. And it was just fun to see even how kind everyone was. Like people were supportive of both teams. There was some definite cheerers for the Cougars and for the T-Birds, but it was just fun to have this small little venue come together and be able to enjoy this experience. It was free. Our school wasn't charging anyone to come. So that was also kind of a fun thing. We ended up talking to a mom and a couple girls that had come over from a school, I think it was South Sevier. That's about an hour away. The daughter played at a volleyball game here last night. Then they came back for this game today. They found out on BYU's schedule that they were playing here. I'm like, how did anyone even know that BYU was playing here? It was so fun. It was fun to be a part of this little experience. So that's why I was late. That's why we started later. I'm so glad I went.
Yeah, I just love so many things about the whole experience. One of the things that is really cool to me is this idea that the cheerleaders just cheered, like, whatever side they were on of the court, they just were like, whichever team matches with our side or whatever, that's who we're cheering for. And I love that they shifted. And I guess it just made me think, like, how cool would it be if there was a lot more of that in sports and life? That on a dime, we could just shift and we could cheer for the other group and realize that really we want both teams to do their best. And there's still contest, right? There's still two teams or whatever, but instead of getting so invested in like only one outcome is going to make me happy and all the things, we can just be so excited to be part of the experience. So anyway, totally. For some reason, I just love this image of the cheerleaders just cheering for the team, the other once it swapped. And I think I just think it could change the world a little bit, I guess.
Well, and so I was there with my 19-year-old daughter. She's home for just another couple weeks before she starts on her mission. But it was so fun to be with her and kind of be experiencing this whole thing. At one point, we were sitting right at the net, so right at the center of the court at the net, and I couldn't really see because there was a line, or there was a official that was up on a little step. And so she was just blocking my view just enough. And I was like, can we move over one way or the other? I don't care which way. Anyway, we move over one way. So the first set, we were sitting behind BYU, or on the BYU side. So it was easy to cheer for BYU. And then when they switched, I'm like, I kind of want to cheer for the T-Birds. Like, this is kind of fun.
Yeah.
And the T-Birds were the underdog. They did end up losing the 3 sets that we saw. Every set. They did lose every set. But it was still fun to be able to cheer for them, and even kind of be sad when they didn't do well, even once they swapped. Like I was cheering for whoever was in front of us, really, right, for the most part. But there was a point where I'm like, oh, the underdogs, I really want the T-Birds to do well also. And so I would cheer for them a little bit more at times. Yeah. But even for me to be able to shift who I'm cheering for, I really do want BYU to do well. Oh, and I want the T-Birds to do well. Anyway, right, it was just a fun thing to experience.
And then, I mean, someone has to win in the sport and someone will get beaten, right? But it just makes me think of that idea from Forever Strong. I think it's from that. I think it's not from some sports movie, but where the coach says, sometimes we will get beaten. But if we have good sportsmanship and we go out there and work hard and we do what we said we were going to do and these other things, then we never lose. And this idea that everything in life can become a win because we can learn something from it. Even if it's like we learn, I'm not doing that, which totally leads into me telling you something about Walmart. In my line, I just totally forgot that this is the week that Snow College all comes back to school. So a lot of times on Facebook in the community pages, it's like, remember everybody, go to Walmart. Like last week, it would have been like, go to Walmart because all the students are coming. Yeah, didn't even think about it. So I'm in there, middle of the day. It was crazy. Apparently they were short staffed and some old lady was behind me in line and she was cranky pants. Like she was just cranky about it. She's like, this is why I don't come to Walmart. And she was telling all the little Walmart people, you get more people up here. I mean, she was just cranky, right? And as I left, I chose to just be friendly with the people. And when it was my turn, I had a little problem with the gift card. So again, one more thing to hold it up. And I said to the lady behind me, oh, my gift card won't scan. So now she's going to need some help. And so then the cranky old lady's like, well, just use another card. I'm like, no, I want to use this gift card because then I will have used it. Anyway, so I got help and I just said, good luck with the rest of your day to the cashier, right? Like I know it's rough. And I left. And I thought, I need to tell my friends, please help me remember, I don't want to become a cranky old lady. And not to like judge her. Who knows what else was going on with her? She had a cane in that cart. She had like 3 items. I also only had like 3 items, but the person in front of me had like, I don't know how she fit it all in one cart. I was like, wow, she's an amazing Tetris master. Fit it in that one cart, but it was a ton of stuff, right? And she's just trying to like feed her family or feed her team or whatever, right? But just this idea that I just could turn that into a win by being friendly to the people who were there, by chit-chatting in line, by learning I don't want to be a cranky old lady. And so what can I do now to not be a cranky, whatever age I am, right? Yeah. To give that lady, I don't know, a little bit of kudos. She turned to the boys behind her, college boys, and she's like, well, where are you boys from? And they're like, we're from France. She's like, France? Anyway, so they had some big conversation. So hopefully that was a happy, brighten your day kind of conversation, even though she was cranky with everything else. Anyway, so I just love this idea that things can be a win for us. We don't have to lose. Even if we get beaten sometimes or wounded or things are hard, it doesn't mean we have to lose in whatever we're doing.
Totally. I love it. I think that's a really great perspective, right? There's good that can come from all of it, whatever the hard things are, whatever the rough stuff. But yeah, so good.
And it doesn't mean that we have to be like happy. I don't have to be happy I'm standing in line. I don't have to be happy that I'm like shoving food in my face when I'm trying to get on with you. And really, it was a relief that you're like, so can we go a little later? And I'm like, yes, that would be great. Because then I can eat and put the eggs away and not be like, are my eggs spoiling on the counter? So like, it just worked out. And it was
totally good. Two of the phrases that this just makes me think of is everything is rigged in my favor. I
Mhm.
love that concept in that if we'll look for it, we can see it, that good can come out of everything. But then on a more of a spiritual note, I love the phrase that God can consecrate everything for our good. And I think we've talked about that a few years ago. I think a mutual friend of ours had mentioned that concept. And I just have really like grabbed onto that. And I
Mhm.
love it. And I feel like I can see how so many things can be for our good. And I just am so, so grateful that God really can orchestrate anything, any hard thing. I'm not saying that we need the same type of thing, right? Not be happy about the hard things.
Right.
We can make something really beautiful out of something really hard, no matter what it is.
Yeah. Just one other follow-up thought on that. You and I've talked about this a lot, but the idea that it's not so much like, okay, I'm in this hard situation, so could I hurry up and learn what I'm supposed to learn? It's not, in my opinion, it's not so much that as it's just like, okay, I'm going to accept the fact I'm in this hard situation. Now, given the fact that I'm in line, right? I'm there in front of the cranky lady, behind the lady with amazing, like a need for a lot of groceries, and they're shorthanded, all the things. So in that moment, and that's like totally not hard compared to real hard. I get that. But in that moment, we can just decide I'm in the middle of hard. And so how am I going to act in the hard? And then is there something I just want to reflect on a little bit? And sometimes the only thing that we get out of it is that we don't want to be maybe how we were. If we were the cranky pants, I don't know, we could learn that, right? I could have been the cranky one in line. Or we can learn, that person showed up today, however they showed up today. I want to strive to not show up like that because I know what it is like to be on the receiving end. And sometimes that's all we can learn.
Yeah,
is
totally.
what we don't want to emulate.
And I think another thought too that can run through our minds is she must really be having a hard day. Like, I hope she's okay. Maybe I'll say a little prayer for her today or something
Yes,
too, right?
I love that. Yep.
But sometimes our hearts can be drawn out to them and look at them through different lenses rather than being annoyed that they're annoyed, right?
Yeah. Well, and I even saw in the other line next to me, the second checker, also huge long line, and she had at least one lady in that line with 2 full carts. And again, these people probably were like, this will be a good time of day to go shopping because it's not 5 p.m. And then they're like, oh my, this is crazy.
Yes.
And here I am with my 2 carts. Well, some other people behind the 2 cart lady, one lady said to the other, like, well, do you just want to go ahead of me? And the lady's like, well, why? She's like, you've got one thing and I've got all this. And the lady's like, well, that's so sweet, but it didn't seem like they knew each other, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't know. It just sometimes the hard things allow this opportunity for us to be just a little kinder or a little more thoughtful. And it all has to do with how we're feeling. Now, if I'd been totally rushed today, I wasn't rushed at that point. We'd already talked about postponing a little bit, and I didn't realize that then it was going to take a while to get my order. And I didn't realize all the other stuff, right? But I wasn't rushed. And so I guess the trick for me would be to figure out in those moments when I am rushed and I am feeling stressed or my feet hurt or I'm old and tired and I just want to go home with my bananas, right? How in those moments can I also shift and be like, okay, yep, I am going to be late. My feet do hurt. And yet, like that lady did, she turned around and was like, where are you boys from? And got to talk to 2 boys from France. Just so cool. So I love this idea of can we cheer for both sides? This concept, right? Can we really just cheer on anyone in life? So everyone's out there just striving. And I feel like we can do it at the drop of a hat, right? We don't have to wait for someone to give us permission. And then also just this idea of recognizing that we can walk away from any situation and just look for where the win in that situation is. And a win can be something we did, or it can be something we learned. And that's empowering.
So good.
Thanks for coming to Meeting of the Moms. We hope it made your load a little lighter. We'd love to hear what's on your mind. Send your celebrations, takeaways, and suggestions for future topics to momswithamyandlorna@gmail.com.
If you enjoyed the show, please like, share, and subscribe. If this isn't the right fit for you, we wish you well on your journey. Until next time, I'm Amy Rasmussen.
And I'm Lorna Adams. See you next week at Moms.